Okay, welcome. I'm Tim Scoggins, Chairman of the Shaftsbury Select Board, and I'm calling this meeting of the Shaftsbury Select Board to order at 6:30 on Monday, February 4th, 2019. Does any member of the board have a conflict of interest with anything appearing on the agenda this evening?
No, sir.
No. First up, approval of minutes. We have minutes for our special meeting on January 18th, which was the hearing on the bylaws. Looks like everybody was present. I need a motion to approve.
Motion?
Motion from Joe to approve the minutes for
Second.
January 18th as circulated. Seconded by Ken. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So the minutes for January 18 are approved 400. We have minutes for our regular meeting on January 21 that were circulated. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion?
Motion to approve from Joe,
Second.
second by Ken. Any additions, corrections, discussion on the minutes for January 21? All in favor of approving the minutes for January 21 as circulated, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So those minutes are also approved 400. And we have minutes that were circulated for a special meeting on January 30th. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Joe,
Second.
second by Ken. Any additions, corrections, or discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes for January 30th as circulated, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those minutes are approved 400. Next up, warrants. I have check warrant number 23 in the amount of $39,599. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Joe,
Second.
second by Ken. Items over $1,000 include to American Rock Salt, $3,200, $2,800, $3,000, and $3,200. To Cat TV, $1,800 for select board coverage. They're getting.
Well,
That was
I have to
quick.
call her because we agreed to 900 this fiscal year and 900 next fiscal year, so I didn't have to
Okay.
come up with the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I'll check into it. But
Yeah, that's right.
I thought Art said something about, didn't he up the year to 2,200?
we did that for fiscal 20,
Right.
planning for increase for next
That-
year.
that's
This is
right, yeah,
we're paying the
2020.
calendar year with the 1,800 because they're on a calendar year and we're on a fiscal year. So
And 2,200 for 2020.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
2,700 to GA Biofuels, 1,500 to GA Biofuels, 1,400 to Newmont Diesel Performance,
That was for truck repairs. Which one was that for?
The Dodge 5500.
Dodge 55.
What happened to it?
Rear brakes, and it had a module on the side of the transmission where it wouldn't stay in drive.
It was a shift module, you know?
Yeah, it kept popping out of drive and going into neutral. And then the rear brakes, while I was in there, I had to do rear brakes because they were not safe.
And what'd that come up to?
1,400, 1,382,
That's not
59.
bad for a big truck. Yeah.
Have we paid for that twice yet?
What's that?
Have we paid for that twice
No,
yet?
the other part, everything else was recalls.
Yeah, but I mean, that seems like that's in the garage every other day.
Oh yeah, that truck.
Yeah.
That truck.
It's been good.
this week.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, I've got $2,000 to QC QA Labs. Is that
That's the engineers for our engineers doing materials testing at the garage.
at the garage? Okay. $2,100 to Sycamore Landscaping for January cemetery mowing. $8,000 to TAM, December trash services. $1,200 to West Mountain Traffic Control. Is that?
That was work with us on West Mountain Ave Road. When the guys are cutting the trees over there, we hire flaggers for it.
Yep, good.
Did you say 2,300 for landscaping in January?
21, I thought.
In January?
It gets very long.
21.
What Jay asked for is if we could take his annual stipend and split it into 12 so he has continual
okay.
income.
All right.
Yeah, I know, it sounds a little mowing in January. Seems a
I
little
was gonna say the grass would be a little thick.
It grew quick today.
Yeah, right.
Yep. Okay, any other discussion on check warrant number 23? All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So check warrant number 23 in the amount of $39,599 is approved 400. And I have payroll warrant number 15 in the amount of $27,049.34. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Joe,
Second.
second by Ken. Any discussion on the payroll? All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Payroll warrant number 15 in the amount of $27,049.34 is approved 400. And I can not for the life of me remember that to do this at the top of the meeting, even though it was pointed out to me just moments ago. A couple of changes to the agenda this evening without objection. We are not going to talk about deferred comp plan. David needs to gather some more information on that. I wanted to mention a request that was made by citizens for a meeting, a resolution at town meeting, which we'll get to in other business. And David has asked for a short executive session to discuss a personnel issue after the meeting, without objection. Are there any announcements? A couple, I'd like to remind people that we still have openings on the Planning Commission and the Development Review Board. If you would like to serve the town in those capacities, just send an email to the town administrator indicating your willingness to serve, and we will take your name into consideration. I also wanted to announce to the public and also let the board know, and we'll talk more about this a little later on the agenda. A number of citizens have approached me and gathered together who want to form an energy committee to guide town policy on energy issues. They are forming, as we speak, our town energy coordinator, Ben Hewlett, is at least coordinating the emails for arranging a meeting on that. And they'll be meeting on the 21st of February at 7 o'clock, probably here.
Yeah, I mentioned to Ben, but I think it'd be pushing it too close to offer Cole Hall. It
Yeah, that's
may or
fine.
may not, yeah.
Yeah. So if anybody out there is interested in helping guide the town's energy policy, send an email to Ben Hewlett, the energy coordinator. You can find him through our website, shaftsburyvt.gov. And we're looking forward to see where that goes. Are there any public comments? Treasurer's report. Melanie Dexter, welcome.
Hello.
Hello, Melanie.
Like I've got January and February reports from you today.
Yeah.
What do you want to look at?
Let's look at January 1st. I also wanted to mention the audit report. Has everybody had a chance to see that yet?
Can't see it anyway.
I looked at the management letter, yes.
Okay. The audit, the professional audit, it came in, and I didn't know whether you guys had gotten copies of it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, they all went out.
Yeah, it's in the Dropbox.
Oh, if I have hard copies for you too, if you can't get it out of the Dropbox.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth looking at. But the bottom line is that I've never seen a budget so exactly on in my entire life. I guess Dave gets a round of applause
Yeah,
for that.
Dave.
What was
Both
that?
revenue and expense was exactly on target. So
Nice.
Good.
Good job, Melanie.
I know, I just cash the checks. I don't get any of the credit for that. But yeah, there were a lot of adjustments that had to happen after the end of the fiscal year, so it took a while for us to get the final numbers, but they are just absolutely right on target, and you'll see them when you have a chance to review it. And as usual, they had a couple of little quibbles about things we're doing, but they've got to come up with something, or they wouldn't be earning their keep. But very little actually of note. So you'll see when you read it.
Yep.
Okay, so this is, we can take a look at January here. Big chunk of delinquent taxes coming in. You see there towards the bottom, over 53,000. That just above that, you see the 261,000. That's basically the checks that you guys have already approved for mostly the garage and the coal hall work. So that's just replenishing the general fund, but those checks come from. Highway state aid came in, so we had a lot of revenue in January, and then we turned around and spent all of it. If you go down, that see the checks written in January. That's the garage you're seeing there. So that's and some coal hall. And pretty large payrolls, which of course you also already approved, but that's you're seeing overtime there pretty much. So you see that the cash balance is, I've mentioned this a couple of times, I like it to be a little higher than that this time of year. So I'm keeping an eye on the money due to the general fund, and you'll see that's why I actually had February, even though February just got started. I wanted to show you what I've been doing there. But reserve fund, you see it's above $1 million. That's partly because of money that's owed to the general fund, so it's a little bloated right now. If we look down at the budget status, compared to last year, I say this every time, it's very, very close. We we follow the same seasonal patterns all the time, so it's very similar to last year. A little bit more revenue than last year. I'm not sure why, but it might just be that the highway money came in a week earlier or something like that. So that's that. If we want to look at the reserve funds for January. Yeah. So what was going on there? Yeah, you see the garage. I show this to you every time. It goes down to the 280 line. That's the money comes in, the money comes out. That's when we get the from the bond bank. It comes in and goes right back out again to pay the general fund for the checks we've been writing. Other than that, it's mostly water, and again, you see it, the other 280 line there. That's coal hall work there. The 13,000. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then some water money. So if we want to look at February now. So basically what I did was all of that money that was due to the general fund, that's water, it's the garage again, it's the coal hall. So all of that I sent over to the general fund. So now our cash balance, if you go down a little bit more, I've got it back up to almost 600,000, which is where I want it to be for this time of year.
Okay.
That's pretty much all that happened so far, but February is pretty new.
Okay.
Any questions about any of that?
Well, I just had a question. I don't know if you can answer it, maybe the road guy can. A class 3 road improvement, what is that?
Well, that would be for all of our class 3 roads.
And what is a class 3 road? I'm just,
Town highways got all different classifications, and like White Creek Road is considered a class 2 road, and then like Rollin Road is considered a class 3 road. So each road has a different classification. There is a definition for exactly what
Yeah,
it is.
mostly the class 2 would be.
Is it for what
connector
type of vehicles
road.
can go on that road?
No, it's, it has to do with, like, a class 2 here, Cold Spring being one, because it transits between two towns. Airport Road following Murphy Hill
East
up to
Road.
East Road
Mhm.
is considered one, because you can go from Shaftsbury to Arlington on it. The things like that, all of East Road going the other direction counts too. But the majority of our roads are class 3, 50 miles of our roads are class 3.
Okay, yeah, I just
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah, it's the biggest difference for us is if it's class 2 road, we can get state grants to work on it.
Ah,
If it's class 3 or 4, we don't get anything.
okay.
So,
To a large extent, class 3 means gravel roads in
yeah,
our town.
there are
at
very
least.
few
Right.
paved class 3 roads.
Yeah.
And that's why we had the reserve fund, right? That was
Yeah.
before my time, but it was because it's not covered by the state
Yeah,
aid. so-
sometimes you need to build up some money
Yeah.
to do things.
Anything else?
Good.
That's it. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Melanie. Roads report. Mike Yanati, welcome.
How's it going?
Good. I've been doing you a favor. I've been trying to stay off the gravel roads the last couple of days.
Please do.
I did come over Horton Hill, and Daniel's on the way over here this evening. There
How's
were
that
some
looking?
soft spots.
Yeah,
I assume that the fact that there's not gravel there means that you've got worse places than that.
I haven't made a trip around yet, but I imagine there's some bad spots.
Not
60
really much you can do this time of year.
No, it's kind of hard to do anything right now. I have to let it dry out a little bit, let it do what it does, let it thaw out, because putting those big trucks out there is just going to make it worse.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, we went from, what were we? Negative 10 Sunday morning, Saturday morning, and now we're 60.
Yeah.
No, it's not good.
You don't
Wait.
have any road softs yet, do you?
70 degrees.
What's that?
You don't have anything, the frost is gone.
No. We'll see what happens, I guess. But I like to answer your question with the class 2 roads, like that, all the work that's been done on East Road from the past couple years, all those were class 2 grants from the state. So,
That's why they're paved.
yeah. Like, you can apply for grants for those and get state aid to help repair those sections of road too, unlike the class 2 sections. I got a few things to talk about.
Okay.
I'll start. One of the first things that I was kind of been tossing around is the Village of North Bennington is upgrading their truck, and they are selling their 2011 International 7500, the single axle that they have right now. The truck's only got 24,000 miles on it, and I've been over there talking with Norm about it and looking at it, and it's actually in really good shape. The program that he's on for replacement is the reason they're getting rid of it. And I've looked it over and went over a few things, and he showed me things that they've replaced, and it seems like a really nice truck, and I feel for the price that they want to let it go for, we would be able to utilize that truck for our town. Because where we're lacking in our town for plowing and winter maintenance is on our pavement. And that truck is set up just for asphalt now, because that's all Norm really does with it, is all asphalt roads. But it's got a nice heavy duty 11-foot Tenco plow on it. It's got a brand new cutting edge.
Sander in the body.
It's an all-season dump body with a side dump. The bed chain is in the dump body, and the bed chain was just replaced last fall. Not this fall, the fall
So
before.
what would you replace
So,
in our fleet with that?
so my plan would be to put that truck from North Bennington, and then our Dodge still keep them teamed up doing blacktop. And then I wanna upgrade our 2009 International single axle that we have. Talking with Dave,
The, part of our capital plan was replacing the 2009 in this year, fiscal 20 actually. So we would bid out for that, keep the green truck, keep the truck we're not gonna use anymore, the truck we're gonna replace, and have some reserve trucks in the fleet. That will give us 2 trucks for backup should anything break down in the winter, which is when you really don't wanna be short a truck.
which we have been
Yeah.
quite a bit this winter,
And the Ford 550 is
out of commission.
out of commission. It's done.
So basically, you're replacing the Ford with this one.
Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
We're replacing the Ford with the Village of North Bennington's truck.
Yeah.
Is that the truck they bounced off the railroad?
I can't
Right.
answer that right now. I really don't know. I could have been it could have been any of them. I mean, he's got quite a bit of railroad tracks that go. I'll have to ask him about that one.
Well, I just because a couple of the people in the village saw it. It was pretty horrific. That's why I'm asking.
mean,
That's
If he did do that, he would have done damage to his plow or something.
right.
And
Right.
I
You
know-
you just replaced the edge on it. You said.
well, maybe he ruined it. It's actually an $1,800 cutting edge that he
Yeah.
just put on.
Carbide.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to ask him about that. He didn't tell me that. I knew they replaced a rail on the backside of
Yeah.
Whitman's, but I
Yeah.
wasn't really sure why.
Yeah, a couple of people told me about it. He caught the track and it was
Which is hard. I mean,
It-
When was
Can
this
happen.
supposed to have happened?
oh god, not that long ago.
Probably caught it with a shoe, Joe.
I don't know what
And
he
how'd you
caught.
catch
I
it
don't
with
know
the-
what he caught.
No, I mean
but-
last winter?
No, this winter.
Oh,
And
because
he-
the work at Whitman's has been planned for quite a long time.
so that wasn't what he hit.
Yeah, we had construction meetings on that last
No,
summer.
this was over by the North Shaft Park.
Oh, by North Shaft Park. Oh,
Yeah, that's the
oh.
rail they just replaced.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
I'll have to
thought
ask
the other
him
one.
that question.
You should because that. All I'm saying is you go a certain speed and all of a sudden you stop in the blink of an eye because you just nailed something. You can do damage to the seals. You can do damage to the internals on the transmission. All kinds of stuff can go wrong, and it may not show up now, but
Yeah.
who knows? 10,000 miles down the road, things will start.
I'll have to ask him about that. He didn't
I-
say anything.
And who knows?
And he-
and maybe it didn't damage it one bit.
Yeah.
That could be the case, but I'm just saying buyer beware, and I would look it over really, really good, and ask him that too. See if you come clean.
I
on it.
will.
And it's-
No, he will. He's been
Yeah, oh
pretty
yeah,
good
Norm's
to
a
me.
good guy.
Yeah.
No, I like Norm.
And he said he's pretty much said that if I wouldn't be offering this to you guys if I knew that there was something wrong with it, because he doesn't want that name. I mean, we
Oh
share
no,
town.
and I know he doesn't.
We
But at the same time, I'd be curious to know if that's the truck that.
I'm gonna ask him about that.
So how, on the scale from pickup truck to dump truck, how big is this truck that they're selling? Is it a dump truck?
It's a dump truck.
Okay,
It's
It's
a,
a big
It's
single
a big
axle
single
dump truck.
axle dump
Okay.
truck.
Is it lighter than our
No,
single axle?
it's a 7500 series. It's the side. It's in between our single axles and our tandems.
How many yard?
Well, it's just like our single axles then.
Ours are 7400 series. This is a 7500 series. It's a little bit heavier duty.
Yeah, okay.
It's got a heavier duty.
I don't
suspension.
know all the numbers anymore.
Yeah.
They change them so damn fast.
So Dave, we've got, we're planning to replace
Yeah.
a 2009 truck.
Yeah,
this
so what we
year?
can do, because we will have about $166,000 come July 1st in cash that we were gonna use to replace. Projecting it out for inflation, I projected to be about 150 we would need for a single axle replacement. But it looks like we can get that for maybe 127 to 140, depending on how we price it out. So there would be, depending on how we negotiate when we bid for that, there would be room to put this one in there too.
With the reserve that we have.
With the reserve we have, yeah.
So the Ford you said we're replacing with this truck essentially?
Pretty much, because the Ford was a pavement truck at one time.
What year was it?
It's an 06.
It's an 06.
06, so-
It's
Adam's
tired.
Day, yeah.
But it was not planned to be replaced this year?
No, the single axle, the Ford was gonna just fade off, as we, change the fleet around. The Ford was the 550 is just like the Dodge. It's like how many are going to have around. And we looked to the better utility of the pickup truck last year and moving that up, and trying to just stretch the Ford out as a utility vehicle. So now these other two will be a little bit more versatile, and they'll be the utility and backup vehicles. The Ford is no point, and I don't know, it's something that as we go along, Mike can right size, but how many 550 series we need is up in the air too. I mean, the Dodge is equivalent to a 550. Eventually that'll have to be go, but that's more the right sizing as we come up. But the single axle was always planned to be replaced this year. It's just a question of Mike saw this and wants to add it on. It could bring us up a few thousand short, but we're already running significantly behind in some areas of the garage, so that we could, not the garage, but Public Works, so that we would make up any loss.
I've been talking with a few salesmen that sell, equivalent trucks to the one that I'd like to upgrade and replace, and just getting some quotes on trucks and then bodies and plows and equipment and all that stuff. Just trying to throw out some numbers to Dave so we could decide if this is something that we could do. And then Norm's truck came available, and
Well, that's gonna be in the regular fleet or just a spare truck?
No, it'd be in the regular fleet during the winter maintenance.
Okay.
So that truck would have an assigned route on the blacktop and would assist with dirt roads
Yeah.
when needed. I mean, right now we've been running one truck. We've been down that green truck, that spare truck, pretty much all winter, and finally just got it back. So we've been making things work, but I feel if we were to have a single axle, a bigger truck that can put out more salt on our blacktop roads, would be a little more efficient, and when the blacktop roads are clear, then that truck can go help out somewhere else where it needs to be
Well, you're gonna really kinda need two blacktop trucks, don't you?
eventually, but I figured we'll start
I
here.
mean, 'cause they've got so much blacktop
No,
now.
we do have the two. We'll still have the Dodge. We'll still be plowing with the Dodge.
Please, God, get rid of that thing.
And not to get off point, but I had one of our town people ask me the other day about, and I didn't know the answer, so I said I would ask.
Yeah.
Why don't they mix the salt and the sand together? Because it's
They
more
do.
economical. And I said I thought you guys
do.
did. Well, I thought you did, and I
Well-
was like, geez, maybe they don't. So
Where
I
they-
ask.
What roads are they wondering?
Oh, they were just saying in general.
Oh,
That-
yeah, we mix salt and sand for all our sand for our dirt roads.
Well, apparently
To keep-
this guy's grandfather was on the town crew at one time.
If we didn't mix any salt with that
Mhm.
sand, it'd be hard as a rock. We wouldn't be able to get into it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
That's true.
there's days that you wanna go out with sand, doesn't have salt in it.
In which, when those days we haul right straight from Daly's.
Yeah.
Like,
Because the thing is, Joe, if you get a day that the roads are icy, and maybe the temperature's 40, 45 degrees, you put salt and sand on that, goes right down through it.
Yeah,
you have a mess.
Then when it gets cold at night, it's icy again. You take your unsalted sand, put it on there, and it freezes right on, just like sandpaper.
Sandpaper, yeah.
Which a lot of the last couple rainstorms that we had, the guys were getting loaded right at Daly's.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was just a question. That was, and I said I would ask.
And then on our blacktop roads, we do straight salt.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you ready to pull a trigger on this truck from North Bennington?
No, I mean, sooner the better. We wouldn't be able to get the truck until his new one is in. So it wouldn't be until next year,
Oh,
till
God.
next winter, for that.
Pretty big window. Yeah.
But during the summertime, it wouldn't hurt us as much as it would now. But his truck, he just put out to bid, and then all of his bids and everything just came back, and he should have his truck sometime, I think he said September, all set.
Oh, okay. So we got
Yeah.
time to think about that. We
Quite a
can
bit.
We've got the
check
money,
into
right?
Joe's
We have the money. Yeah.
Joe's
Okay.
issue.
When did, I'm a little confused, when did he want to know?
Oh, he wanted to know an answer within the next week or so. That's what he wanted.
Okay, Well, then maybe we can continue this to the next meeting and we can,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I mean, if you guys think it's a good idea, the only question was, Joe, you were thinking that this particular truck had.
Was in an
had-
accident.
Had an
That's-
accident,
yeah.
so if you can check that
Just
out,
come back.
Yeah, check that
Yeah, I
out.
will.
that's the only thing I think
Yeah.
that's, would hold us back, so.
That's why I just said
He would-
buyer
he would-
beware,
he
you know,
would
just
let you
I
know.
would.
and Ken, just for your question,
He would have said something.
depending
I would
on the
think.
bid price for the single axle,
Oh, you would
uh,
hope.
we have like a hump, like I said, about 166 for the two of these. The single axle comes up a little high, we could be 10 grand off or so, which we can undoubtedly make up from, I think in excess we're gonna have this year in materials. Should knock on wood quickly in case we have a blizzard next week. But
That's
so
Well,
far
no,
we're
I mean,
doing
you can,
pretty well
you can
on
get
it.
by with deals like this, that truck, if it's, you know, it hasn't been ran.
Yeah,
I was in business 30 years, I never had a brand new dump
yeah,
truck.
there's a value to this.
I've looked at, Dolores has a used one over there now. I've looked at a couple other used ones and they all got high mileage and they've all been destroyed.
They're all
Yeah.
internationals, aren't they? Or
Everything that I've seen around here.
Yeah.
And except unless you look online. But for being a one owner truck and only having 25,000 miles on it, I mean, it's got some surface rust, but it's a salt truck.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think they've taken care of it pretty well. He went through a whole list of stuff that the new rear brakes, air cans, bed chain, it's got brand new studded tires on the back. I mean, he went on and on. I can get more information on that if you guys want to. He'd write it all up for me.
wow.
I mean, they're a small crew, so on cold days when that's backed in the garage, they're maintaining their truck. Oh, and he also, which I thought was pretty cool, which we should look into, is he put 2 cameras on it, and one of the cameras looks into the dump body so you can see your load,
Nice.
and then another
Yeah.
backup camera.
How smart is that?
So I said,
Yeah.
send me a picture at night when you're plowing in the next storm, and he sent, because I wanted to see what the camera, what I've seen other cameras before, but it's clear as day at night.
Because you don't really know what's going on.
No, and he's got it pointed where you can see his load and
You're
everything.
supposed to know how to drive the truck.
But
Wow, that's pretty smart.
You guys are getting spoiled, I'm gonna be envious.
Not like the
modern
old days.
technology.
Yeah.
We had to put it on autopilot and get out and look.
Yeah, no, the horse.
Okay, so it sounds like, it sounds like we're all in agreement that this truck is a good deal pending the
Yeah.
check
Okay.
and make sure it's not in an accident. We can,
Yeah.
do it, come back and decide on the 18th if, you're in a hurry, or we can pass a motion, say that, we approve it pending verification that it's not been in the accident that Joe suspected.
Well, yeah.
I think that would probably be
Yeah.
a better way to go.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm looking for a motion to authorize Dave to purchase the truck from North Bennington. I know that this is a Shaftsbury price, but this is public record. We're gonna have to tell.
Oh, yeah, yeah, if you're voting to purchase it, then yeah.
Yeah,
I think we should, before we pull the trigger tonight, let's save it for the next meeting if we could. Just so we can do some research.
what,
I'd like to do some research.
okay. Can you wait 2 weeks?
Yeah,
I'm sure he'll do
I'm
it
sure
for
it'll
2
be
weeks.
fine.
Okay,
I'll talk to him tomorrow.
all right,
Okay.
we will.
I mean, if he had any damage, he's gonna have records of it anyway.
Yeah.
yeah.
And all the records from the truck is at Dolores.
Well-
It's where it's gone for everything besides hydraulic lines.
In my statement to one of the people that were telling me about this accident was, I said, well, the springs, I said, God, those blades make enough noise just hitting the pavement going down
I
the
mean-
road. I mean, I think what it was, it sounded worse
Yeah.
than what it was, and that's because they're like, oh my God,
surprised.
oh jeez.
I'm really surprised he didn't say
My
anything.
guess would be, Joe, you got shoes on the plows.
Yeah.
And the shoes tip like this.
Yeah. So,
And I'll bet you one of them
Yeah,
shoes
it
caught.
just went boom.
yeah, caught the
Caught the
caught the
rail.
rail. Yep.
All right,
Yeah.
all right.
And I'm surprised it ripped the rail.
No, they had to replace the rail. So
It damaged something. So I'm gonna go ahead with the other truck with working on bid documents to get that out to bid to upgrade our 09 too.
Okay,
'Cause we gotta start with that now. It's to get get the process moving. Get a
Yep.
truck and get it in to get it all equipped with the new
That'd be
body.
a single axle?
Be a single axle. Why, you want a tandem?
No.
Okay.
I was a little surprised they got them, but I know they got a place for them.
They do. 2 tandems is enough in this town.
Yeah.
The big plus with this 2011 though is that we do know who owned it. And
Yeah.
and we do know they maintained it.
That's why I was thinking, and I mean,
Oh, I agree.
it
and
is
I-
a used truck, and
I just want to make sure we're everything.
I totally get it.
What would you think of that state auction, Mike, for a truck?
I wouldn't
Are
go
they-
truck wise,
Yeah.
but there are other things there that I would look into. Maybe like a hot box for towing around asphalt or you
Yeah.
know, something like that. But truck wise,
I know my brother bought a backhoe up there. It was a pretty good machine.
equipment wise, you're probably in a better boat. But the trucks are
They get used a lot more. The equipment does
Yeah.
a lot of sitting.
the equipment does a lot of sitting.
That's
Yeah.
35,000 for that. Was it? How much was the price of that? 35 for the 2011 truck.
We,
We don't know yet.
I thought it was the price was
We
like
were going to talk about that.
Right.
yeah,
35,000.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So we will approve the truck next time.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we can't
Yeah.
buy a truck without making the price public. That's
yeah.
just the way it is.
No, it's fine. I just because it was once we said yes, then we would go from make the price public. But
I mean, I'm
if we
excited
said
about the truck.
if we said
If
no,
it's-
he would probably be upset
Yeah.
that we said what he was offering it to us.
Okay. Well, that's kind of
Oh well.
the cost of doing business in a
Oh, well.
community like this. So we'll just have to.
Well, and I never just, and not to discredit Norm at all, but I just don't. I mean, I just like to look into things myself.
That's fine.
That's yeah.
All right. What else you got besides that truck?
We've also been looking into innovative surface solutions. So what that is that would be for our calcium chloride. Actually, and the calcium chloride is used for dust control in the summertime when we're grading. So with this innovative surface solutions, they would set up at our new shop, and what we would do is we would be in agreement with them, is they lock in a price with you per gallon, and then you'll at our new facility we'll have 3,000 gallon tanks to store the chloride. They supply a 925 gallon spray system, which that would go on our chloride truck, and then the pump, the spray bar, the hoses, everything, the tanks, everything that you get from this company is all warranted from them. They pay for, so if the Honda pump goes, they come and replace it, and all we pay for is the price per gallon, and you lock in a 3-year contract with them, and I feel that it'd be a lot more efficient for us to have that right at our new facility.
A 3,000 gallon tank.
3 of them.
Okay, for
So the reason we go 3 of them is so you could have 2 deliveries on hand, and they bring you 4,300 gallons at a rip. And if we grade say we grade 1 mile, you use about 1,000 gallons for 1 mile. That's both lanes. That's about the truck, the spray bar, the spray tank, the pump, everything that they supply you. It's all calibrated. It's all warranted by them. If something happens, they come out and they replace it. The salesman came in and met with me and Dave the other day.
What's calibrated on it?
So they calibrate the gallons per minute that it comes
Yeah.
out when it's pumping per lane mile.
Okay.
So it's going to put out 500 gallons, 1 lane mile at 12 feet wide.
Keep track of the efficiency.
Yeah.
And consistency.
Can you change it?
Yeah,
You can change it.
you can adjust it too
Okay.
if you wanted to pump
And
out
but
more.
the pump or the tank delivery tank is theirs, not ours.
It's all theirs. And it'll be, yeah, that'll be all at our
That's one
facility.
of the better parts of it, Ken, is that we don't own any of it.
So they
And
come
anything
set
that
it up
breaks,
and they take
they
it
Yeah.
away.
fix, because I
Yeah.
can't think of how many pumps I bought for the chloride.
Oh, no, but I mean, I'm just saying, when we had, or have or had
Yeah,
a tank that we'd hope
Sounds
they
like a
made
smarter
up.
way to do it.
yeah, and the other thing is, besides the volume control, which we'll have, and we'll actually be able to know how much is going down and work on making it somewhat even across the town. This solution is 14 cents cheaper than chloride right now, which for 2018 would have saved us about $6,000 on the gallonage we used in 2018.
Wait a minute, the chloride is cheaper and we use their equipment instead of
Yeah.
pumping salt through our own stuff?
Yeah.
So I found this, I went down to the town
Yeah.
of Pownell to, remember when Pownell did the RAS? They did that, I don't know if you guys knew that, but Pownell did a section of the reclaimed shingles as well.
Right,
okay.
Well,
right.
well, when we went down there, I looked in the back of their truck and I was like, wow, they got a nice chloride setup, nice brand new tank, Honda
Yeah.
motor. So I said to Joel, I'm like, where'd you get that? He goes, Innovative Surface Solutions. It's theirs. I just buy the liquid from them. They supply all that. I said, wow. I told him
And
about
meanwhile,
it.
we're melting trucks and buying pumps.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very smart,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it just fits in the bed
And-
of a dump truck.
Yeah.
Or we put it on the body of our current.
We're gonna put it on the current truck that we
Yeah.
have, just because it's already
already
got the
yeah.
calcium
Yeah.
already on it.
Yeah.
And we're actually gonna go with magnesium chloride. It's a little bit less corrosive. And that's what the town of Pownell's using, and they've had good luck with it.
I'm
Well,
sure.
calcium chloride,
Now, what's the price difference between the two?
14
For-
cents a gallon.
So,
More for the magnesium?
less.
That's,
Magnesium's less.
So for what we're paying right now, it's 14 cents a gallon cheaper.
It's a bargain.
That's very
And then
good.
it's, even if we got calcium
It's a
chloride, it's
no-brainer,
10
yeah.
cents a gallon
No
cheaper.
joke.
yeah, but hey, if you can cut down on that, because calcium chloride is, talking about salt being corrosive,
Yeah,
that stuff is 2 or 3 times as
Yeah,
bad.
it is
Yeah.
bad. Yeah.
so that was something that we've been working
yeah,
on.
we have the contract. I need to get a few more, get
Yeah.
this fleshed out a little bit, but we signed up for 3 years. They have a gallonage requirement, which we've easily exceeded for the last 3 years. So, really, it just looks like it saves money, it saves equipment.
Now,
Yeah.
are we locked in on a price, or can they adjust the prices?
That's the one
as we
part I
go
wanna
along?
make absolutely sure we're locked in at 75 cents a gallon. Like I said, calcium chloride, we pay 89 cents a gallon now, so if this locks in for 3 years at 75 cents a gallon,
And
wrecking their
I'm
pumps.
pretty sure it does.
Well,
I
it's,
just gotta touch
Sounds
base with
good
him
to
again
me.
about that.
yeah, but you want to be able to adjust that, because you got areas where the road's all in the shade,
Yeah,
you're not gonna need as much chloride as you are.
so you go a little faster through that section.
Well,
No.
no, I mean,
Stuff
I just wanna make sure they can do it, because it-
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you can run that. It's got a controller and everything, and you can run it in the truck, shut it on and
yeah,
off.
yeah.
The other thing that I was looking for too is starting with the town midsummer and being shorthanded. I ran our chloride truck quite a bit for the guys out grading, and just going to dailies and filling the truck up there and then weighing on the scale and then going back, and it's a very slow, inefficient process, where this would be right at our shop. We can fill the truck at our shop, it can be loaded, ready to go. I just feel like it'll be a lot more efficient for us and saving us money.
How quick can we get the setup?
So he said once we say we were gonna do this, they will start ordering our supplies, and then we won't put it at our new facility until we're up there. So,
Yeah.
but they're gonna order everything for us and have it on hand, the 3 tanks, the in-body tank with the spray bar, and the hose, and all the fittings and stuff we need.
Don't you wanna go back to solid chloride,
To what?
to the plate chloride?
I've
You never played with that, did you?
few construction projects I was on, we had pallets of it, and you had to throw it,
Look,
break open the pallet
yeah,
and throw it out,
yeah.
just in the little
Try it
sections.
over the whole town.
Probably not. We can put it out with our spinners, run it through the bed chain.
Well, see, we didn't have that.
I don't know if it would work or not.
Had us once a tailgate spinner. take
Yeah.
the tailgate off and feed it into the spreader by hand.
Well, I believe we have consensus on the innovative surface solution, so
Yeah.
do that before they change their mind, yeah.
Yeah, sounds
Okay.
good, Mike.
Yeah. Just a couple other things. We have that structures grant from V-Trans for the Shaftsbury Hollow culvert,
Hollow Hideaway?
Hollow Hideaway.
Yeah.
I'm working on bid documents right now to get that out to bid, and then the project manager at District 1 office is gonna send me some email contacts for contractors that will do that slip line rehab. So I'm working on that. Been plowing snow, probably gonna deal with some mudding, a lot of rutting with this weather. We've been doing some trees and brush removal on White Creek Road, and just starting to plan for the summer. There's gonna be we'll be doing a lot of work this summer. I'm still working on my summer plan, but we're getting there.
Okay.
Mike's also working on, he's forgotten.
What's that?
3 more bids. We have those
I'm
other grants and then we have to,
getting there.
okay, all right, let's move it along. 3 more to go.
I got 3 more bids that I'm working on too. I got a Shaftsbury Hollow improvement, a Horton Hill, and then we have the grant and aid from Better Back Roads, and there's 5 locations that all that work's going to be contracted out. Gonna put it all out to bid within the next couple weeks, and then they'll have the completion date and everything right on it for the contractors. And I'll probably do a little pre-construction meeting with them, so they pre-bid meeting, so they understand the projects and just go from there. And then that'll keep us, the town crew, doing our maintenance that we should be doing. Just typical back to basics, installing culverts, ditching, tree work, grading. We got a bunch of patching that needs to be done on the asphalt too. So it would help us big time putting all these projects out to bid and having contractors come in and do them, and with a little oversight from us. But
Yeah.
that's pretty much all I got.
What's your read on that dip on White Creek where it's
The dip
slumping? What?
up there on the
On the
corner.
corner?
So Chris, I just met with Chris Taft the other day, and he is looking into it to see if their geotechnical side will pay for borings for us to bore that to see what's going on. So I haven't heard back from him. He's, it takes a little while, but I had Chris come out and look at it and see what, because he was actually involved with that project before that got paved back in 2013.
13 or 14, yeah.
Yeah.
So-
We had a similar situation
And, yeah, down the road,
down the road, just a few
Right.
hundred feet.
which he
where-
was also part
He was
of.
also involved
Yeah, he
with
was
that
involved
too.
in that too.
Just so you know, Mike, if you where that is starting to slide, if you go across the road into the town ditch, up that ditch, maybe 100 feet, I don't know. I put a French drain in there all the way across that road, back in the 70s.
In the 70s.
So it's been doing it for a long time, but the state
It
better.
held for a while then,
It did, not.
Well, we didn't have fabric then, so you had to just put the stone in
and
there. It probably filled in.
it probably did silt in. But it probably worked for a long time.
Yeah.
No, something's got to be done there. It's getting worse.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear that we're looking into it. But yeah, I mean, I drive it every day.
Me too.
I don't think it's getting any worse, but
It's there.
it's definitely there. Yeah.
You feel it when you're plowing the road big time.
Give it another 2 months, you'll see what it's gonna do.
Right.
When
Yeah.
frost goes,
Hopefully it comes back a little bit. But
yeah,
What's
it
our-
might.
Do we have a time frame for when we think we have to address that?
I don't have a time frame, but probably soon. Something's gonna have to get done.
Well, they ought to bore that first anyway, so you know.
I wanted to get the results back from him to see what he said, like if they can actually help us. He thinks they can, and they've helped towns out in the past for borings. So
Yeah.
he'll get back to me. He's pretty good at.
That's actually how we started Brunel's also, was with boring. Although we absorbed that cost ourselves, which was extremely high. So if the state can give us a hand with that, that would really be good.
But
Okay.
if not, I did say to him, we gotta think of another fix, and he's working on that too.
Yeah.
If that doesn't work out, so he's got his technical staff working on that too. So-
But it'll involve digging up the road and
Mhm.
putting
Something there.
rocks
I
with
mean, if
fence
nothing
around
else,
it
the
or something
frustrated,
like
a
that.
good
yeah.
big frustrated fabric in there
It definitely, yeah.
makes an awful difference.
I thought they had done that already. I thought they had done that already.
Not in there.
Well,
Not, well,
we
not,
put, yeah, we put one
last-
up by Brownell's. A
Yeah,
burrito
oh,
up by
okay, that's
Brownell's.
what-
last time they did
Yeah.
that down there, Tony was,
Yeah, yeah.
anything in that
Yeah.
corner, I don't know if they did anything since I did it.
Once a fix is designed, it's something we should probably
Yeah.
get right
Yeah.
on.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else that you have?
No, do you guys have
Well,
anything
yeah,
else for
one
me?
more.
Yeah.
Putting out a bid for aggregates.
Okay, yeah.
We started hauling aggregates down from Wallingford, and the material's very good. So what we're going to do is put an ad in the paper and solicit a few trucking companies for them to haul the material down for us. It's competitive with getting material from Peckham's, and it's much better material. Much better material. But we have to set some formal trucking contract here. We can't do it. It's going to take up too much time. So, you know, somebody with a trailer can haul it down. We'll solicit a few companies, just like we're gonna solicit a few local excavator companies for the other projects, and we'll put it in the banner. We'll see what the price comes up.
Okay.
Is Peckham's product that bad now?
Well, I'll let Mike address that. He's putting it down. This stuff is good.
Wasn't Art Whitman that was suggesting something about that, or
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
mentioned
and
something
other
about that?
towns do routinely truck down from up there,
Yeah.
but a lot of them use their own equipment, and it's kind of a haul, and it takes up a lot of time.
Well, their prices though are a third of what Daly's is too.
Yeah, and you add in the trucking, so that's what I mean. It's not.
They have a decent price
It's
for
not
getting it
Yeah.
hauled down here too, and the way I wrote the bid up that Dave has is is the town will pay, they will bill the town for the aggregates that we purchase. The trucking company will bill us for the price per ton, so they will haul it down per ton. Trucked per ton, you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So-
But not per yard.
We're not
No,
gonna
they don't
negotiate.
sell it
anything.
by
Well,
yard.
the yard. Okay.
Yeah.
They sell everything by the ton.
So what we would be negotiating the price trucked per ton. The price that it's at the plant is what it is.
Okay. So we'd be negotiating the delivered price.
Delivered price, correct.
Yep. Okay.
The only thing is, did you speak with Daly about
I'm talking,
changing the quality of their stuff?
Dan Deerstein, the salesman in this area, talked with me last week about our needs and said he wanted to sit down and he wanted to go over making a better gravel for us.
Yeah.
So I haven't met with him yet. It was just a brief talk, but
Well, I mean, I kind of feel we're in
I do too.
a tough spot because they're our biggest employer in town, and I don't want to shove them aside. On the other side of it, when I was in business, I used a lot of stuff from SLC.
I know, and it's just I feel the same way. I feel that we buy a lot from Daly's. They do, or Peckham. They do a lot
Yeah.
for us. But if their gravel isn't what it is, it's not
If
holding
it's-
up. We
If
got
you can't use it, you can't use it.
in
And
that.
an important part of this, Ken, too, is this is not providing any guarantee of us using this service. We need to have in a locked
Oh, I
lock-in
know.
on a contract. So
Yeah.
it may be 20 loads, it may be 50
Yeah.
loads, it may be 5 loads, but
Yeah.
we need somebody we can call and say, go get us some loads, because
Right.
And that-
cherry picking people gets more.
Oh, no, I'm not
expensive.
saying that. I'm just saying I want Daly to have an
Yeah,
equal chance
yeah, absolutely.
to make an equal material.
Yep.
And if they don't want to do it or can't, well then, so be it. That's business.
It is business.
And
Do we know why the quality of Daly's material has declined?
I feel when we get it from the Hoosick quarry and it comes right off the crusher, it's good material. But when it gets hauled up here as shot rock, crushed up here, and then bucket mixed, like they mix stone and gravel and everything together, I just feel like it doesn't hold together. It just blows apart. It's worked well in some of the rutting that we've had, but it's really stony. So I mean, you have a lot of stones.
Well,
So
you get gravel with too much stone in it, and it will not pack.
it does not pack,
And then you got marbles.
and we have a lot of marbles.
Yeah, that's no good.
No, and I kind of want to try a section of road with this SurePack. I want to do a little test run
Yeah.
too from SLC somewhere. I just haven't decided where yet.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to go putting the gravel down. I want to, you know,
No, I know.
ditch the road. Maybe if it needs culvert cleaning, on and on, brush, whatever, just to
Yeah.
make it more cost effective and last a lot
Well, you
longer.
can't, even if they're local, you can't, if the material's not what you can use,
I mean,
you
how
can't
long?
use it.
How long did you buy material from Barney's? I mean,
I did, I had nothing to do with that, and I wouldn't wanna.
but
Okay.
All right.
Is that it?
I think that's it.
Looks like Dave's got a couple of things on here. It looks like we need to certify the town's highway mileage again.
Yeah, it's just the annual certification. Nothing's changed with our mileage from last year. So the board just has to adopt that and then I'll get it up to the state.
Okay, so I need a motion to certify the highway mileage for the year ending February 10, 2019. No,
So moved.
moved by Ken,
Second.
seconded by Tony. Any discussion? As we said, this is just certifying formally, as we do every year, that the mileage, number of miles of roads that we have is the same, hasn't changed any. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So the certification of highway miles is approved by a vote of 400. Just so you know, we have 0 Class 1 miles, we have 20 Class 2 miles, 50 Class 3 miles, 16 miles of state highway, total of 86 miles. And then we've actually got a little bit of Class 4 and 1.7 miles and 3.35 miles of legal trail.
Dexter Road.
Hmm?
That's it, right?
Dexter Road.
Dexter Road is the trail?
I think so.
Okay,
Yeah,
Part of it.
there's a lot of segments of legal trails around
Yeah.
town.
all right.
In the middle.
In the middle.
In the
yeah.
middle there, yeah. We have to put up a sign,
I got him.
okay.
The ground's frozen.
No,
Yeah.
people use the GPS and they get on Dexter Road and it tells them to take that over the side of Mill and they drive right into it and they can't get out and it's like,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
If you
I
want.
forget what the.
yeah.
Okay, Mike, anything else?
Nope, I'm all
Dave,
set.
anything else?
Yes, I just bring this up every year, just so the board can know, but the town highway and bridge weight restriction filing is due. Every year it comes in at this time, every year we don't put any restrictions on the roads, so.
Mike, what's your opinion about that?
Highway, bridge, and
Oh, just the.
Ken,
I know.
we've never
Well,
done that, but we
What
always
was
wonder
that,
if we
what is
should.
that temperature? I didn't catch that.
Should we put weight restrictions on the road come mud season?
Oh, you never done that before?
We have never done that.
Those signs that you get from, like,
Yeah, and this
Trans
is
that-
any permanent road weight restriction, which we don't have. And we never add one to it. These are the permanent ones, and then the mud season ones too are coming up, and we've never done that
you
either,
never have.
no.
So you're asking about which?
This is the
That can make
permanent
a big
one,
difference.
Oh, I see.
and we don't have any
Right.
permanent
Yeah,
restrictions
it
on our
could-
roads.
Okay.
But I need, it's,
It'd be
you have
worth
to
a
be asked
try.
every year.
Oh, I didn't know. I figured that all the towns were doing that.
No, and some of the problems, because there are some farms out on some of these back roads,
Right.
becomes an issue getting into the farm vehicles.
Oil trucks.
Oil trucks are generally exempt, but
Well, and
you
you're
have
looking at milk
you have
tankers
some
going to
lumbering
the farm.
operations that go on year round in town, and they'd all be affected by this.
Yes.
So this comes up every year, though.
Yeah, every year
Maybe.
I'm required to ask the same
Well,
thing.
maybe we'll think about it for next
Yeah,
year.
it's something for you to keep an eye on. If you see that we're getting undue damage from heavy trucks, especially ones that are passing through that might be something that we need
You-
to
you can
think
get-
about.
Permits, Tim, that Bennington would always send them out. And you pay per vehicle for what you're carrying. You pay them a tax. to
Yes,
Bennington.
that's what this one is.
Yeah,
And we never do it, because a lot of towns will do it, and I'm asked,
well,
Like, it's like
number one, how you
$5.
gonna enforce that?
Right.
well, not.
It's,
This guy right here.
well, yeah, but he's had more important things to chase truck around.
And unless he has a very big scale, it won't hold up.
Right.
Because to really enforce it, you need a truck scale.
Right.
You have to weigh the vehicle on the road, otherwise you're just
You have no
guessing.
way of.
Yeah,
Well, we could, put you to work all summer chasing logging trucks and then escorting them down to the border where we can weigh them.
ask him to drive over to
boy.
Daly so you can put it on the scale.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we can weigh it daily, there we go. All right,
I don't think we've ever had enough trouble to.
okay. Well, Mike, keep an eye on that and let us know if that's something we should take
Okay.
into consideration. Anything else?
No,
What
Um,
about the state gas tax?
well, I
rate?
think that's.
Yeah, that's a select board issue. I stuck it here. It could really be a separate item, but I stuck it here because it relates. And what it is we have been approached by select board members from other towns, from Stratford and Waterbury, who are looking to push the legislature to institute a gas tax, with the idea that the gas tax is used to fund infrastructure in towns. They point out here that 70% of the roads in Vermont, about 11,382 miles, are maintained by cities and towns. It's an interesting. I mean, it's a user fee. I mean, that's the way all roads are supposed to be paid for. That's the way they're supposed to be paid for at the federal level. We just haven't wanted to raise the federal gas tax in 30 or 40 years, so our infrastructure is crumbling. But what this would do it's talking about a 4 cent a gallon gasoline tax. The money would be divvied up among towns to help them maintain their roads.
It's nice to have the money, but Vermont is a rural state. And a lot of people gotta drive quite a ways to get to work. And you can hurt a lot of
It's gonna hurt.
working guys and stuff like that. If some of them birds up Montpelier would get off of their duff and start using money the way it ought to be used instead of passing it out to their buddies, they wouldn't need any more money.
Oh. Well, 4 cents a gallon's a lot. What do you think, Tony? How much are you willing to pay?
I don't know. I agree with you, Ken. I'm concerned about how they distribute the money.
It is.
Yeah.
You give them more money, they'll waste it someplace else.
Well, but this would only be designated for highway improvement, right?
No, I know, but it's still,
I know.
But we already paid a
there ain't
highway
nothing
tax
that you ever
on our
built.
fuel.
We paid,
There's nothing that they can't cut corners on and be more efficient with.
We already pay a highway tax.
yeah.
Okay, well, this is just one of those things where they're asking us to, sign a letter or
Yeah.
whatever. Does not sound like there is consensus on the board to do that, so we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, thanks, Mike.
no problem.
Somewhat related is why I put it on the next agenda item, the Town Energy Committee. I mentioned it at the start that it's being formed. There was a meeting last week, BCRC meeting, BCRC sponsored meeting. There were several state people there who are part of what's a state network of town energy committees. And they were giving, advice on how you go about performing them and what they can do. The main thing that this board needs to be thinking about is the citizens who are interested in doing this will be meeting. Well, I guess I should say there are a couple of motivations for this kind of thing happening. A lot of people, like myself, think an energy committee could do some real good economically for the citizens by making them aware of ways that they can save energy, or the incentives that come about. Things like Efficiency Vermont. I mean, let's recall back a few years ago, we replaced all of our streetlights with LEDs. Saves us several $1,000s a year. We learned about that because I read it in the paper that North Bennington had just done it. So, an energy committee would be on top of these kinds of things and keeping the town aware of them. They would make them, people in the town aware of incentives that come down to do, energy
Cost-saving
work, that
improvements,
sort of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And as an overall goal, I think it's worth keeping in mind that the entire country is kind of like reinventing energy over the next few decades as oil runs out, and we spend a whole lot of our money on energy, and to the extent that money can be diverted to local sources, it has the potential to be a big economic gain for the state, the region, and the town. So that's one of the reasons for thinking about something like an energy committee forming. Also, I think a lot of the citizens who are involved are concerned about climate change and want to see if there's something that Vermont can do on that front, and in particular that Shaftsbury can do. But the main thing the reason I wanted this board to start thinking about it is the first question this group is going to grapple with, and which was brought up at the BCRC meeting, is are you a certified committee of the town, or are you a group of concerned citizens who form your own committee outside the boundaries of the town? And so that group is not decided yet. There seems to be some debate going on among the citizens about that. If they come to us and say, they want to be a certified energy committee, we have to decide if that's what we want. And if they want to stay outside of that, then they're a group of concerned citizens who will do what they want and come with recommendations to us that we can take or leave at our entire discretion, which we can do if they're a town committee also. But as a town committee, we do, I feel, have some responsibility to direct them and to take what they say perhaps more seriously, and also to expect something of them, like we do with the cemetery committee, who comes, and we expect them to come and tell us what the price of corner markers ought to be in the cemetery. If we sanction an energy committee, we should give them some direction of where we think they should go.
I also think there needs to be somebody with some expertise, as opposed to just people who are,
Shooting from the hip.
basically, I think this is a great idea, but I think we need, at least there should be one or two people on that committee that we could rely on as people who are educated and have experience within the energy field, because I think things are going to change very rapidly. And it's certainly going to be price driven, but, as opposed to, I've been there, done that, and there are a lot of people with some really crazy ideas. So, I'd like to have somebody reliable on that committee.
Well, again, that ties into that question of what kind of committee is it? If it's a town committee, we can appoint the members of that committee. so we can decide exactly what expertise goes
So
on.
they're in the process of just forming at this point.
Correct, yes.
With Ben being at the head.
Ben is our energy coordinator. And
Yeah.
he's involved. Like I say, it's still up to them,
Yeah.
you know, how they're structured, who is their leader, if they have one, all that sort of
Let's
thing.
see how they do, and then have them come to the board.
Yep.
Sure.
My concern, Tim, is that we get too carried away with this stuff, because, I mean, I'm all for solar power, wind power, and all that, because it all helps. But I also saw a thing on TV the other day, that if you took every single solar power plant in the country that's running right now, you couldn't power a quarter of New York City.
That's right.
So,
Solar power.
you know, it's
renewables
great
is
to
still
do
a very
all that
small part of
stuff.
the total at this
But
point.
like solar power, I think somewhere I saw, I'm not sure of this one, but you actual use of solar power, you only on a 24-hour day over the whole year, night, day, and everything else, you only get 25% of the time you can use it. And I guess wind power is even worse. Now you see all these people say, well, we're gonna have electric cars and all that. Great, if you want an electric car. But then you go shut down Vermont Yankee. You're not gonna draw power out of a stone. You know, you gotta do something sensible.
Right.
And just go out and say, oh, I'm gonna save the planet. Well, the planet was here long before any of us in this room were. It's gonna be here long after we're gone.
Well, that's why I really would like to have somebody on that, at least.
No,
a
I agree
couple
with
people
you.
On that committee that knows what they're
100%.
talking about, because I think there's a lot of misinformation and a lot
Right,
of
but just to do it to say we did it, is,
Yeah.
you haven't, to me, you haven't done anything.
I agree, yeah.
To be a part of the trend.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I don't,
as
I don't
said,
have any rose-colored glasses.
As I said at the start, I personally am most interested in seeing this committee do things that are economically sound
Yeah.
for the town and for the citizens of the town.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when they come to us, we can certainly, whichever type of committee they form, we can certainly say that is the kind of
Yeah.
thing that we're most interested in hearing about. Okay. All right, town garage coal hall update. We're done.
We're getting close. The garage will actually be done by the end of the month. The big issue, as you've all noticed, are the garage doors, which were all delivered in the wrong color and put up in the wrong color. We are waiting to hear from the manufacturer. There's nothing to say about it. It's in our submittal that they're supposed to be sandstone and they're bright white. How they got put up without the site people realizing they were like 20 shades off of what they're supposed to be. But we're waiting to see what they say. It's our prerogative to take a credit or to even just say, make new doors. We don't want them painted. It has to be baked in or they're going to fall apart. So I'm just waiting. I asked them again today. Allegedly, someone may be at the meeting on Thursday. We have a construction meeting on Thursday to make their plea or their offer on this. But we'll talk with Jack about that later and get back to the board. You know, it's really, you know, if they have to take the doors down, they will be used somewhere else. These are standard bay doors. So is it going to be a hurt for one of the subs? Undoubtedly. But our submittal was very much not this color. And I mean, you know.
Ken was hard over, he didn't want white doors, I remember that.
Yeah, yeah. And these are white. I mean, these are
They look
white doors.
out of place and cheap, yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, so I'll let you know as soon as we hear about that. But the interior is almost done. I was there today, turning over a bill that was sent to us wrong. We were billed for the propane tanks, so I brought that back over to Russell for them to take care of. But it's really almost finished on the inside. We're sheetrocking today. The break room stuff will go in before the end of the week. And then it'll just be finishing the exterior, you know, the site work that can't get done now. We're looking at an expense of maybe 20,000 roughly for our gravel to put down, because we left that out of the project. But it looks pretty good to where we're gonna come out. I wanted to go over those numbers with Melanie before I did it, but we're going to be a little bit over what we had. Probably, in the area of 30, 40,000 when you toss the gravel in, but we never budgeted for the gravel anyway. So we'll take it from there. But with the last numbers she put in tonight, we should do pretty well, because our overage might be as small as $20,000. So,
Great.
but, yeah, because from looking at what she handed out tonight, from the garage bond and the reserve fund, and some of that does get transferred. These two numbers are the final numbers. That's what's left in the bond, and that's what's left in the garage fund. So that'll leave us enough to cover everything except 10, 20, 30,000, depending, on the last things, how everything goes. But it's coming in very close to where we wanted to be, so that's good. Coal Hall is also coming to a conclusion. The floors will be finished by Thursday, which is making a huge difference. They came up really nice. Then there's a lot of odds and ends to do, putting in the trim, painting the front. It's just the things that are always around at the end of a job. I will need, as I discussed, I have to go to the Hawkins Fund to get some money to pay for the remainder of this, which looks about 16,000, 17,000 at this point. I've already talked to Robster about how I can get that withdrawn from there to put into the Coal Hall Reserve Fund. And that's going to leave the Hawkins Fund with a little over $130,000 as it is. But we're getting very close to finishing the interior part of the Coal Hall project. So I think it came out. Nice. We finished the rest of it. Will be nice. And the garage is really quite a building. It really is a good building. So good to have them both done, because it'd be good to be done with the construction and move on.
Have you got any idea, Dave, what they would give us for credit if they left the doors?
Nope. Like I said, I was told this morning that there might be someone from the company at Thursday's construction meeting. So I'll let you know after we hear what they have to say. But again, the main decision is, are we going to live with them, or just say that's not what the submittal said? The submittal said sandstone.
Well, as long as you're not painting them, because you cannot paint
You can't
them.
paint them; they'll be erect. No.
Right.
Have you looked at them?
Yeah.
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 They look like,
Yeah.
the hood of your car is the wrong color. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's essentially it. I mean, this is a pretty specifically laid out building, and
Well,
They're
that's the money
noticeable.
shot of the building too. It's
well,
the money
it is
shot.
because it's funny because at one meeting they said, "Oh, we're going to start putting the garage doors up." Come back to the next meeting, and when I walked up to the side of the building, past the one white door, it kind of didn't hit me. And Jack was like, "Oh, look at the trim around the window," busting me about our window paint and everything. But then when you walk around the front, and all five of them are staring you in the face, it's kind of like,
Sure.
wow.
You got one on the end there too, Dave.
Yeah, well, that's the one I walked right by because that didn't click in. But when I looked at the front, it's like, whoa, that's a lot of out of place
Wow.
Yeah.
So
doors.
nobody was there to see that.
Yeah,
So
Yeah, well,
somebody said,
that's
"Put the
what-
door up."
that's
They
what
would-
you
they would look at the
hire
color.
the construction manager to do
Right.
is look at the submittals and
Yeah.
you know-
They're gonna say keep them, right? And you're gonna
oh,
say,
of course they want us to keep
They-
them. I'm
they-
sure.
yeah.
I
But
mean,
I mean,
They
and they're
don't
not
wanna
going to
take
offer
them
us a
down.
lot of money. I bet they're talking low thousands for.
Yeah,
They can take them back.
Yeah.
yeah,
I-
because easily, like I said, it's not like they won't make any money on this end of it. That's for sure.
yeah,
But they can take all those panels
sure.
and use them on another job. It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
like they're going in the garbage can. It's
Sure.
a standard size door.
Standard size
so,
door, yeah.
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 So
Yeah. We want our sand colored doors. Yeah.
it would look
We
better
went
in the
through a
long
lot
run.
of trouble picking those colors.
Yeah.
Well, you've got that one small door on the end too. Don't forget that one.
Right.
No, that's part of it. You got the 5 doors, so
Five doors.
6 doors.
I thought it was the
doors.
windows.
Six
The
bay
windows
doors.
you were concerned about, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, and we
Yeah.
went through all that trouble to pick that color.
Twice.
Yes, we actually voted on that
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
twice.
Colors are a challenge for this board. We don't want to.
Well,
We
we
don't
were
want them
really, we're
throwing
out
up-
on a limb on those.
on its white doors after we went through all of that, yeah.
Yeah, that's really it for that.
Okay, alright. Thing I wanted to mention is, we've been talking about the exterior of Coal Hall will be our next big project, and, we'll be looking at funds like the G.W. Hawkins Fund to fund that, as we take down the old garage and, start to think about how to, make the exterior of Coal Hall look like something that we can be proud of. At the very least, we have to put up a sign that says it's the town offices.
Yeah.
We don't have that, but Dave has pointed out some things like how nice it would be if we had an entrance back at the front of the church that came through the war memorial, the Veterans Memorial, and if if we can afford it, if the elevator was close to where people come in instead of where it is, which is like a maze. And you know, do we want parking? Do we want to park? Those kinds of things for the area that we recover from the garage. I believe that we should get a professional design and have ideas presented to us rather than us trying to do it, because we were lucky to get through the window colors ourselves. So I asked Goldstone Architecture just to give me a ballpark proposal for that type of thing to see, you know, what those type of design services would be. What they came back with was a little under $3,000. And so I wanted to put it to the board, you know, do we want to have Goldstone Architecture present us with designs, and what we would get would be like line drawings that, you know, kind of looking down on, well, I don't, you know, that would give you a sense of kind of a, you know, like you were looking from above at the area at an angle to see, you know, what it would all look like. And we can, you know, we can go with them, or we can take bids on the process and look at other firms as well.
I'd say go ahead.
Yeah.
I'd like to see bids at $3,000.
$3,000 is by purchasing policy. If it's above $3,000, we to respect policy, we have to bid it out. If it's under $3,000, we can just get quotes for it. But in this case, we could ask for other quotes as well, or anytime we feel like it's you know, in the town's best interest, we can say, let's go with sole source on something like this.
And they've already worked on the building on the front
Yeah, that's
part
what I
of
was
it.
gonna say.
They, when I had to get the design for fire safety, they've already been in the
Yeah.
building and done all the measurements, things like that.
That was my thought in choosing them first, is they've been working, you know, with us on a lot of stuff for a long time. They don't start from scratch. One of the things that would happen if we brought somebody else in is they would be starting from scratch in terms of their knowledge of the building and what we want and that sort of thing. So is there a motion to award an exterior design proposal to Goldstone Architecture for, I believe it's $29.50, to present us not more than 3 different concepts for the exterior of Coal Hall?
So moved.
Moved by Tony,
Second.
second by Joe. More discussion? Ken, you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
All right, all in favor say aye.
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 All right, so that motion is approved by a vote of 4-0-0.
Tim, will one of those include moving the lift from one side of the building to the other?
We can specify any number of things that we're thinking about, and I listed several of them, and that was,
Okay.
you know, I didn't say specifically move it to the other side, but I said its position was something that
Oh, yeah, okay.
that, you know, was among the things that we're talking about. So we should get together with them before we send them off to do this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
anybody else who's interested in providing input, certainly we can arrange a time and say, you know, here's the kind of thing we want.
If we gotta have an elevator like what's over there now,
Well, we have a lift. We have to have a lift,
Lift.
an elevator. My biggest problem with what we have, besides the fact the meeting could be over by the time you get to the second floor, is it's in the wrong place. It should be in the foyer, or it should be
Yeah.
an external elevator. And then it's basically flipping what we have to have an interior staircase for the employees over where the elevator is now, and have the elevator so when you walk in the lobby, you can use it. It's a deterrent, and it puts people off who may want to come to a meeting because they have to wait for the doors to be unlocked. They have to go through the back way.
Yeah.
It's not correct. An upgrade, if we can move it internally, an upgrade to what we have would be nice.
That's old too.
I forget the age, but
It's an old lift.
it's an old lift. It's not very capable.
No.
It's
That
not.
hasn't been used more than 10 times.
It's really
if that.
slow. It was put in to meet the requirement.
And that wasn't cheap. Those are expensive.
That one was about $30,000.
I was gonna say, I paid 25,000 for
Yeah.
a lift that size.
Yep, and it
Yeah.
costs about
Yeah,
$90 a year, and then every third year about $600 to have it
to be
inspected.
inspected.
Yeah. So, it'd be nice if people came in and actually used it and it moved along. And
So in order to access it, you've gotta come in another door.
you have to come in, you have to wait for someone to go unlock the clerk's office. You have to go through the clerk's office, go into the back garbage room, and then ride it upstairs, and then you have to come back the whole way again. The ramp that leads in from the west side of the
Yeah.
building is too steep. It
Right.
doesn't meet ADA. So it's just
Wow.
not
Yeah,
in
and
the
that
best
AD
place.
boy,
So we've
yeah.
got a non-productive asset that just costs money.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I'm surprised ADA passed that.
Wow.
the
Well,
way
not to
it is.
mention the difficulty of some of the doorways, but they
Oh,
do.
yeah.
We checked all those, and
Yeah.
it does
Yeah.
fit. But it's not certainly not welcoming if you want to look at it that
No,
way.
no.
It's not.
Make that part of the.
I just was remembering
Yeah.
that
You write that down.
to see if there's anything else that we set as an action item. That was one that just popped into my head. Okay. Is there any other business?
One more thing, we hit our post-closure landfill certification is up. I want the board's permission to enter into a contract with KAS for $3,500 to begin the recertification process for us. KAS is the engineers who have been certifying all the tests and everything else for years now. They're very familiar with it. Again, they wouldn't even have to come down here to start to do this part of it. They can do it all there because they have all the numbers, they have all the statistics, they have all the drawings. So going to anybody else is just, in familiarity, is just going to cost us way more. So, but it's kind of a
Did
complicated.
you say $3,500?
$3,500.
To do the recertification of the landfill.
So moved.
Moved by Ken,
Second.
second by Tony. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So that motion to hire KAS to recertify the landfill for $3,500. That motion approved, passes by a vote of 4-0-0.
Do we want, no, I'm confused. Did we just approve the contract for Goldstone?
We did.
Okay, should I ask, because I'm gonna make a requisition to the trustees, should I ask for that money to also come from Hawkins?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good.
Where are we with the new business? Broadband, Wi-Fi,
Yes.
broadband cell service.
Yes, this Wednesday, I'm meeting with Planning Commission Chair Chris Williams and Michael Batcher at BCRC, who will be helping us with the effort in terms of collecting existing information, and also they have survey capabilities, online survey capabilities that we don't have. we're going to talk about the level of effort. The main point of this meeting is to talk about the level of effort we're going to require from BCRC. One thing that I've circulated by email that is worth mentioning is, and a couple of people seem to like the idea, is that to get the survey going, we do an online survey and we advertise it around town with signs, like our sandwich sign. And to the extent that we can get people to go online and tell us where the holes are in our broadband coverage, that will save us effort in mailing stuff and going door to door and all of that. So the first stage of the effort is that I have a first draft of the survey put together that's been circulated to the Planning Commission. I can share that with you all if you like. So that's kind of where we're thinking we're going with that at first, is let's see how much we can get people to tell us where the broadband holes are. Cell phones is kind of in our concept with this survey as well. The way it's looking to me right now is it's kind of the same thing. If people will tell us, in the survey whether or not they got cell phone service, that's good. Finding out, where cell phone service is more problematic, because it depends on which side of my house I'm standing on. So, we could be looking at a lot of on the ground work there, similar to something that I saw recently on VT Digger. Was a member of somebody at the Public Utilities Commission, I believe, just in his own personal car, got 6 cell phones from 6 different carriers and put them on his dashboard and drove all over the state collecting information, including in this area. So there's that database.
It varies company to company.
Yes.
And the last one to listen to is the company.
Yes.
Oh, Lord,
yes.
yes.
There's every reason
Yeah.
to believe that the coverage that the
Yeah.
That was
cell phone
at Channel
companies
3 News, I
publish
think,
is not,
I see it
is
on
not
there.
accurate. Yeah.
I think you're right in saying that you put that sandwich board sign out there because everybody is gonna want better broadband. So
Right.
you'll
Yeah.
have no problem getting a response. I don't
Right.
think.
Yeah.
Right. The other thing I would point out that our timing looks good if we, get moving on this, because right now in the legislature, Governor Scott and the legislature both are talking about, and I was reading today Governor Scott's budget proposal, where he is saying he wants to put another $1 million into this infrastructure fund that is specifically for paying people like Comcast to run their wire where they don't think they're going to make money if they run that wire. And that's exactly the kind of thing that we've been thinking might be a solution here if we find out that, we've got a little cell phone hole at the end of Shaftsbury Hollow Road, but nobody wants to run a wire out there because there's only 6 houses. But it looks like there's new money becoming available right now, or this next legislative session, to do exactly that sort of thing. And if we're in a position to go to the legislature or to the state, whoever will be administering it, and say, we've done our homework, we've done this survey, we can tell you exactly, where we need you to run the wire, I think it'll help us get to the front of the line.
Good.
Well, what's that other one? I see on TV they was advertising, HughesNet, that's the satellite.
It's a satellite.
Yeah, HughesNet, I had HughesNet for a while. It's not broadband.
No.
It's a little better than dial-up internet.
Yeah.
But it's not what people today want. It's not what I wanted. It was barely good enough to check email with.
I'd like to try to find out where we could around Comcast, because when I had them, I mean, what was there, you had good internet and everything else. But good God, every 20 minutes there was a rain on you,
Yes.
Yeah.
And so if there's an alternative to those guys, I'd really like to find it.
Well, a lot of towns are building their own broadband companies. There's a handful of towns, and there are clusters of towns in Vermont itself where that's happening. My personal thought is, unless we cluster with, Bennington and a lot of
we're
other
gonna have
towns, That's a hard thing to do, spin up a multi-million-dollar company
Right.
to lay fiber optics down dirt roads is a hard thing to do, but getting Comcast to go an extra mile down Shaftsbury Hollow is something you can do for thousands instead of millions, and especially if we can get state help. That seems like at least an easier step. But I agree with you. The fact that somebody like Comcast is a monopoly means they can raise
Yeah.
their rates whenever they want to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nothing we can do.
so are the other ones.
It's so true. They have no competition.
No.
I mean, you go to New York and look at all the deals you can get.
I just was on the phone to them today. I was like, and they don't care.
Any other business?
Just a mention for, I'm going on a furniture hunt, because most of our furniture is broken. So I've been looking at different things. We have about a year ago, we joined a consortium of buyers, but I'm still, even at 50% discounts from the major retailers of office furniture, I'm appalled at the prices, because it's still so much. So I'm gonna take a ride up to Building and Services in Waterbury and have a look at their warehouse. They have a lot of old furniture up there and used furniture that we could probably get for significant savings. But we have a lot, I don't think any of our desks lock, or some of them don't even close. We don't wanna close them because we can't get them back open, so.
Yes.
It was a back burner issue, but now that we're getting done, it's time to find some things. I'm hoping I can find a little cluster of used furniture up in the warehouse, so I'm gonna take a ride up over the weekend and root around and see what they have. So,
Yeah,
you know,
that's a good idea.
yeah.
I know in Austin, where I came from, there was one or two used office furniture dealers, and if we can find somebody like that in a place like Albany,
There's a couple in Albany. They have kind of limited selection,
I've been there,
the ones I've looked at.
yeah.
Yeah, and Chris Williams gave me a company that he had used when he was at Williams College down somewhere, I think in Springfield, so I might look over there too. I forget where he said it was, but yeah, just kind of shop around, because really the new prices is appalling.
yeah,
Just can't believe how expensive they are. And a lot of people buy stuff, furnish an office, and go bankrupt in 2 months. And
Yeah.
It's just back in the shop.
Right.
Actually, there's a couple in Texas and a couple in some of the other bigger states have amazing stuff for nothing, where offices are just
Yeah.
cleaned out and they're just trying to move this stuff.
yeah. I've been to that place. I bought furniture at one of them, and it is, this Walmart-sized warehouse
Yeah.
stacked to the ceiling with old office furniture. But it's
Yeah.
like you say, companies they get venture capital funding. They
Yeah.
spin up a business. They got all that stuff, and then they
Boom.
go out of business. 3 to 5
Yeah.
years later, and it's all but they pay somebody to haul it away, and then these guys sell it for
Nothing.
10 cents on the dollar. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're looking, because really some of the desks are awful.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to get a conference table too.
Yeah,
Which I'm also kind of looking at, so I'll let you know what I find. Because the Staples tables were a good stopgap measure, but I think we could probably do better.
Yeah.
This table is making me jealous.
They're not going to look good in that nice new
They
building.
This is a real
won't miss
one
it.
either.
Will they miss
Yeah.
this?
They
Huh?
won't
Yeah.
miss this.
Yeah,
We'll put them on our Rubbermaid tables.
Yeah.
They won't know.
Yeah, those plastic tables were just about the nicest thing in the building
they,
before.
there's a few places you can bring a Staples table
look,
into and look.
Yeah.
It's so nice now that the building is better. Yeah.
Find out
Next to
what
the
these guys
garage
got.
doors.
Yeah, they match the garage doors anyway.
One other thing, a number of citizens approached me asking if we had planned to recognize Alice Miller's service, 22 years of service as our state rep. At the next town meeting will be the first town meeting where she, won't be our continuing rep. She would be the rep representing, to give the report for 2018, but would not be the rep for 2019. And it would suggest that we might want to put together a resolution from the select board honoring her service, and have kind of a changing of the guard ceremony at
Could
at
we
the town meeting.
award her with a plaque or something, maybe?
Yeah, I think that would be appropriate, yeah. So if everyone's in agreement, then I'll put together something The plaque's a good idea, maybe even nicer than, say, just a
Yeah, then,
a resolution.
well, you could do both.
Yeah, we could do both.
Yeah, a resolution and then a plaque, yeah.
Plaque and a bottle of whiskey. Should we have?
Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay, I will work on that. Plaque?
Okay.
Or is that what builds up on my teeth? I never am sure about
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Okay, that's it. Reviewing action items, going back a little ways. I'm just gonna leave this here, the contractor plowing, doing the plowing on Glastonbury Road. We don't have a formal agreement there,
Oh.
but it seems to be being worked out.
Yeah, it's the state's responsibility. It is pretty much resolved. The state, no matter what, has to pay for our end of the road through a quirky little agreement that we have with Glastonbury that I didn't really recognize, nor did the state, that it included this, but the state has to plow our part of Glastonbury Road in their agreement through Glastonbury.
Okay.
So Rob's agreed, yep, okay. Because Mr. Harrington called us and said, I'm not giving up my right to have the state plow your road. And I'm like, good, don't give it up. It sounds like a
Okay.
wonderful thing to me. So that's pretty much resolved.
Well, tell Ricky thank you for it.
Yeah.
All right. We have decided that the business about consolidating or liquidating cemetery funds and healthcare funds, we're putting that off until after town meeting. I'm going to leave it on the schedule. We had an issue come up relative to a comment that was made of the DRB about what the DRB can or can't do relative to protecting the town in the event of a new business comes to town. Somebody opens a drive-in theater on a dirt road, and suddenly we've got hundreds of cars. Can the town ask for conditions be placed on that they do something to the road and that sort of thing? And the answer is yes, they can. It kind of varies depending on whether you're talking about a permitted use, a permitted with site plan review, or a conditional use. Certainly with a conditional use, there are conditions that we can put on it. With a permitted use, like somebody's going to build a house, if we decide suddenly, that's too many houses on that road, we probably can't make that one person pay extra for that one house just because it's adding to the road. But I did talk to Jim Sullivan, and yes, in fact, the DRB does have the authority to impose conditions on a business within the restrictions of our bylaws, if that's the case. So there was a comment made at the DRB meeting that the DRB can't do that, but in fact they can. They can't do it arbitrarily, and there are very specific cases where they can't. That's if the town knows we have a road problem, and we've had a road problem for years, like is the case on Perrin Road. If somebody comes in and decides to open a business or build a house there, we can't put all of that burden on them. Conditions can be applied for things that are above and beyond or undue burden caused by a specific thing. But if we have a problem, like Art's mentioned, we've got new state standards for roads that we have to get up to speed on. That's our problem. That's not a new business's problem. But in terms of us being protected in general, which is the question that you and Art both had, the answer is yes, we are protected.
Okay,
within
that was,
yeah,
I was kind of concerned about that.
yeah. And the other question we had last week was, can we use unfiltered water to clean off trucks? And the answer is no. The Department of the DEC, Department of
Environmental Conservation.
A&R.
A&R.
Whatever you think about 25 parts per trillion of PFOA, the fact is, by Vermont law, that's contaminated water. And you cannot take contaminated water out of a hose and start spraying it other places. That's the way they say it is. We're introducing a new point source of of pollution when we do that. So the water that washes the trucks has got to be filtered. If that comes up,
Yeah.
it hasn't come up, the well hasn't been tested yet, it may not ever be a problem, but if it is, we have
Well, it really doesn't make
set
sense.
set aside room for a poet if we have to put one in, and
Well,
all
the
the water will
standard
go
don't
through
make
that.
any sense, so.
Well,
what
part
are
of the
you gonna do there?
concern is that if we wash a lot of trucks and drain it off, and it is, a little bit above, what we might do is set off one of the other wells down below, and it'll be showing a higher level, but it's really just the water from over
The
here.
runoff, yeah.
So, but the testing's been done and it's not back. It takes quite a while for this to come back, so we'll just see what the test says. I mean,
Yeah.
But this is something we were always prepared for.
Yeah.
and we have set aside in the mechanical room, just to have it there, this space, should we ever need this thing to put in there,
But we all thought it made a lot more sense, just in terms of, energy conservation, not to go to all the trouble and expense to filter water that you're just gonna wash salt off a truck with, but that's not how
That's not how they're viewing it.
Vermont law lets you do it.
Yeah.
I thought you could have just had it, a sign listing it as non-potable water, and then you could use it to
Well,
wash the
as
trucks.
they were explaining to me, the real issue is that if say it comes up, 0.2, or 2.1 or whatever it is, that you're pouring thousands of gallons out washing these trucks all week, and that's just going into the ground and into the groundwater, and then monitoring well 8 down here by Airport Road is gonna go up higher, but it's really not from down there, it's because we put all this water into the ground, from washing the trucks. So, I mean, the funny thing is that in the restrictions they had, don't drink the water, but you could shower with the water and you could do other things.
Well, I was gonna.
So it's just, they're concerned with volume of washing the trucks going into an already monitored area and artificially driving up another well.
Well, I guess what my argument would be on that is that you're probably gonna take more harmful contaminants off the truck than you are the water being used. So even in a rainstorm, you're gonna be, you see, you know where I'm going with that?
Well, yeah, but this is the one they're interested in, so this
Yeah.
is the one we're
You're
kind of
talking
stuck
about
with.
the chicken and the egg.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which one got there first?
Okay, tonight Mike is gonna check, on the truck to see if there was something that happened to it on the railroad. And then I will work on the resolution and the plaque for Alice at town meeting.
I'm gonna price check the truck.
We know, okay, we'll check the price of the truck. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Then we need to move into executive session to discuss a personnel issue. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Moved